Good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution episode 990. 10 away, baby. A week from Tuesday. No show tomorrow. It's the Madison Card Show. You see scrolling. Boom. Tomorrow, Madison Card Show, Sheraton Hotel, John Nolan Drive. 125 sold out dealer tables. Free admission show runs from 9 to 3. Tomorrow, been burning the candle at both ends the last couple days. It is not fun. As much as it sounds fun, it is not fun having a 2-day show, preparing for a 2-day show, being gone 2 days, having to catch up from shipping, also picking up a Goodwill pallet and preparing to run a show and vend at the show. It has been a busy week, and today is going to be even busier. I haven't even finished my map. I've had a lot of, as we get closer and closer to the show, there's a lot of moving parts, table additions, subtractions, moving things around. So it's a work in progress. And I haven't made coffee. I slept in this morning. Oh, got water on my name that player card. Slept in this morning. I was up till 11 last night. 11! I'm never up that late, but that's how crazy it's been. So Madison Card Show, we are sold out. I expect probably some drop-offs today. Try to get those filled, but we are sold out at this time. So actually had a cancel Wednesday. I had a cancel. Reached out to somebody. Nope. He's like, actually, if I threw my back out, I would have had to cancel if I booked with you anyway. I'm like, okay, well, hopefully you feel better. My back, it's like, oof. So I did yesterday and last night. I was bringing most of the Goodwill pallet downstairs. Of course, I'm sorting because I need to fill some boxes, and I have piles everywhere. So this is the trap. It's a trap. I'm trapping myself. I start building these piles, building these bargain boxes, and then they're half filled, 3/4 filled. It's like, well, I need to get this filled. So what do? I bring the Goodwill pallet boxes down, and I start sorting through those. That's on me. That's my fault. So I was doing that last night. I refused to watch the Cubs game, and I'm glad I did because they lost again. Now it's not looking good for playoff hopes for the Cubs. Not looking good. They need to win some games in Milwaukee, and the Marlins have to lose some games just to sneak in for that third wild card. Not looking good. Not looking good at all. So last night I watched the Packers game, which I'm glad I did because the Lions beat up on them. I think because I think I did I turn it off or was I still watching? I think they were up 27-3, but then it was 27-17. I wasn't paying attention. I was sorting a lot. Where's my app? NFL scores. 34-20. Okay. Go Lions. A friend of mine, him and his wife and parents went up there. His wife's a Packers fan. He's a diehard Lions fan. His parents are diehard Packers fans. So they made the trek to Lambeau. And I texted him. I'm like, hey, tell the gang, go Lions. So I was sorting. I think I've just got a couple boxes left in the back of my car. So I'll get those down this morning and then start loading up boxes. And I have to make it out to the Sheraton this afternoon to get the tables, make sure they're all set correctly, and get the names on the tables. What else? So yeah, I got caught up on shipping, and I still have to ship today. It's like, oh my God, it's never ending. Never ending. So what else is going on? Oh, had quite the excitement yesterday. I was TMI alert. I was doing my morning business yesterday, and all of a sudden there's a pounding at my door. Now remember, we've got drywallers working in the garage. We had a painter painting the screened porch yesterday. So I'm like, oh, I just want to take a dump in peace. Can I do that? We've been in this goddamn house for 3 months. I just want to take a dump in peace. So I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? So I look at the camera to see what's going on outside, and I see 2 police cars in my front, in front of my house. I'm like, oh, what the? But like, I just have like a guilt, like, oh my God, what did I do? What did I do? So I, by the time, because I was finishing up, and I go outside, and there was 2 cops, 2 cop cars, 2 cops. One of the cops said, "Are you Ivan?" I'm like, do I look like an Ivan? I'm like, no, I'm not Ivan. So I'm like, he's probably in here. And so back this up. This is at what, like 10 o'clock? This is probably 10 a.m. yesterday. And after I probably went off this at 8. So when I went upstairs, my wife was already up, and she said the drywallers are here, something. And so I looked. I had to go outside. Did I move her car? I can't remember. But anyway, the one of the drywallers was out front, parked like where he parks, but he had someone with him, like his wife or girlfriend. I'm like, well, that's weird. Why would he bring her and like just make her sit in the car all day? So I thought that was a little strange. And this is like 8:15. And nobody was inside working in the garage. But I just figured, I don't know, maybe because it was like 8:15. So maybe they're not coming till 8:30, 9 o'clock. Maybe he's just waiting for the rest of the guys, right? Maybe his girlfriend's getting a ride, wife's getting a ride from somebody. I don't know. So I'm like, okay, chalk it up. So I go into the garage, and so the cop goes, "Oh, do you have workers?" I'm like, yeah. Like, I'm not harboring Ivan. He's not downstairs shipping and listing. So I'm in the garage looking for Ivan, and the cop goes, well, how many workers are here? And I'm like, I don't know. I sound suspicious, like I'm harboring a criminal. I'm like, I honestly don't know. Like, I saw their car in the front. My wife just left. I just assumed the whole crew was here. I'm like, usually there's 2 or 3 guys. There's none right now. That guy, what's his name? I know he's been working in the garage. So then all of a sudden they're like walking all over, and the other cop goes, "Oh, I found him." No, that's my painter. And like, that's not Ivan. I don't know where Ivan is. So I'm like, let me call my contractor. So I call my guy, and I'm like, "Hey, where's Ivan?" "Oh, he's not working today. It's still wet. The drywall's wet. We can't sand yet." I'm like, okay. I'm like, "Hey, the Madison police are here. They're looking for Ivan." And he's like, "Oh." I'm like, "What?" He's like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on." I'm like, okay. So apparently what happened, I don't know the whole story. Because while I was on the phone with my guy, they had reached Ivan by phone. So the cops were talking to Ivan on the phone. Apparently, there was possibly a falling out between Carlos and Ivan. And Ivan has Carlos's tools. And Carlos called the cops. The cops come over to my house looking for Ivan. So the cop comes back. We found him. He's going to come drop the tools off in 15 minutes. So my wife and my mother-in-law were on their way to Chicago, do a little shopping. And so I text her. I took a photo of the cops in the front of our house. She's like, what the hell is happening? So she calls me. She's like, I've got you on speakerphone. She's like, what is going on? I honestly don't know. And I don't think Carlos doesn't speak English and the other guy doesn't speak English. The cops asked me if I spoke Spanish. I said no. So then I told my wife, I'm like, well, they're not working today because it's still, and she's like, well, they told me they were working today. It was going to be dry, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, well, they're not working. So one of the guys, after they bring the tools, Carlos gets his tools back. One of the guys comes into the garage. And I'm like, hey, are you working today? And he just kind of looked at me like he doesn't speak English. And he just said, yeah. So I don't think he understood the question. I don't think he understood my English. And because then he just left and they never came back. So I think they're finishing today, I hope. So that's the story. That's why the cops were at my house. He's like, what in the hell is going on? So excitement. So where are we at? Let's go to the chat. Today is a free-for-all Friday, which just means not much. We just call it a free-for-all Friday. We do play Name That Player. I wasn't as prepared, so it's kind of a quickly put together Name That Player. Steve's in the house. Good morning. Happy Friday. What is up? Steel Cards is here. TGIF. Oh, speaking of TGIF, oh man. That's why I didn't. Now it's all coming back to me. Now I remember why I didn't finish the Lions and Packers game. So TGIF. So yesterday, Topps Now put out a card of our big 90s crush, Topanga from Boy Meets World. You know how I'm a big Boy Meets World fan. I listen to their podcast. I'm so disappointed that you can't watch Boy Meets World anywhere except for Disney Plus. So I see this card making the rounds. I'm like, oh man, that's an awesome card. I wish it was a Cubs card. She's in a Phillies jersey. So I'm like, man, I just want to watch Boy Meets World. So I ordered Disney Plus last night, and I only watched like half the episode. That's why it's because I think I just turned the TV off at that point. Like, okay. I don't know, the app died. I don't know. Something happened and it like froze and I just turned it off. So now I have Disney Plus and I can watch Boy Meets World. But they have like Home Improvement on there. I'm like, oh, hey, there's other good stuff. Like, I just thought Disney Plus was like a bunch of cartoons. Like, I didn't know there was actual like movies and shows on there that like I would be interested in watching. I just thought it was like the Star Wars crap and cartoons. That's what I thought Disney Plus was. Like, oh, it's just a bunch of kids stuff. No, there's like cool stuff on there. Shane Koopmans, what's up? Happy Friday. Terry McDaniel's in the house. Good morning. Harlan is here. What's going on? We got Carlo Does Vintage. What's up? Donald Davis is here. Good morning. Victor's in the house. What's happening? Card Hobbyist says, don't discount the Diamondbacks losing. They're playing Houston this weekend. Big series for both teams. So what are the standings? So the wild card standings. The Diamondbacks do own the tiebreaker, so I don't think the Cubs can overcome. So they're what? 2? Yeah, so they would need... So the Cubs would have to sweep the Brewers, and the Diamondbacks would have to get swept by the Astros. And then similar results for the Marlins. Although, so the Marlins also hold the tiebreaker on the Cubs. The Marlins currently hold a half-game lead over the Cubs, which is basically a game and a half. Arizona's basically 2.5 up on the Cubs. So is it possible? Yes. Is it probable? I don't think so. Not the way that these Cubs have been playing here over the last couple of weeks. John's in the house. What's up? Card Hobbyist is here. Good morning. Max, what's happening? Just finished changing the oil on my car. There's a line of women outside. What do I do? He's a man. Manly man Max changing his own oil. Card Hobbyist says, someone called the eBay police on you. Good morning, Mark. What's up? Looks like the Lions are the real deal. They looked pretty good last night. They did. That defense looked really good. Although the second I didn't see him give up. I watched most. I was paying somewhat. Oh my God. See? That's a big yawn. Wow. That's what happens when I stay up until 11 o'clock watching Boy Meets World. Cardboard Critters, what's going on? Took the day off to finally be able to watch and listen to your show. What's up? That's awesome. Enjoy your day off. Hall of Fame card collector, what's going on? Good morning. We've got Zach and Porter here. Johnny Boy Cards, happy Friday. Get Google Translate on your phone. I didn't even think of that. Because I did have to do that for another project for one of the contractors over the summer. I did have to do that once. I also used Google Translate in Italy trying to explain Pearl Jam. And do you know what Pearl Jam is in Italian? Pearl Jam. Like, oh, you just don't know the band. Matty Ice, good morning. Hail Mary Hits, what's happening? Good morning. It's been a minute, but happy to hear Bo's interesting stories, right? Brian says I use Google Translate when I use Spanish workers all the time. I will have to do that. I never think of that. I'm on my phone like half the freaking day, and I don't oh, duh. I've got a freaking worldwide translator in my pocket. Andy Mack, good morning. Bought 20 Topanga cards if anyone wants to trade with me. Yes. Big John, collector cards. What's going on? Good morning. Arnie's in the house. What's going on? Topps released Topanga and Megan Rapinoe cards on the same day. That seemed like someone at Topps was trolling Rapinoe. Bronco is here. What's going on? Popping in to say hi and see you in 24 hours. Yes. Madison Card Show tomorrow. Ivan De Jesus. Oh, I'm like, who? Max says, I wouldn't even have the slightest idea of how to get the hood open. That's why it's funny. Right? Yeah, I wouldn't even know where to start. I had, what issue did I have with my car? And I took it to like AutoZone. It wasn't an oil change. It was shit. What the hell was it? Something had to be replaced. And I thought it would be like easy. Like if I was a man and knew how to change my own oil, I would be able to fix this problem. And I took it to AutoZone and they opened the hood and they're like, oh, you have to take this to the dealership. I'm like, what? What? Because they have to like remove the dash. It might have been the battery. I think it was the battery. Because my battery died. It was like Cubs convention day. Like the day I was supposed, and I had to rent a car just to go to the train station. Because you're like, why did you do that? Well, because the nearest train station's like an hour and 15 minutes. So that's what it was. To change the battery out, they have to like remove part of the dash. And so like the dealership has to do it. Scott Nelson, what's going on? Madison Card Show tomorrow. Steve says, sorry, bad joke. I thought maybe the cops were looking for Ivan De Jesus Cubs cards. Bad dad joke. So yeah, that was the fun yesterday. That's about all. I did find some good stuff in the Goodwill palette. Not much. This Goodwill palette's not like hot. Like there's not going to be like a a big. I don't expect to find a big card. Again, I haven't gone through a lot of it, but I've gone through some of the boxes with newer stuff because I can throw those into quarter box. It's a lot of quarter box stuff and some dollar box stuff. Finding plenty of like Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers that I sell to one of my guys. So a lot of that stuff, a lot of like modern, like some Ginter, Topps Chrome, like recent stuff, a lot, like a ton of color for football. Like I think I'm going to have at least 2 new boxes that I didn't have last week at the show. 2 new football boxes, 1 new baseball box, and 1 new basketball box. So I'll have all that stuff. So I had not, like, I considered just doing dollar boxes and kind of cheaping out tomorrow and just do dollar boxes and bring some supplies because Paul's not going to be there. He's got like a bunch of supplies that he brings. So I'm going to bring that stuff. So we'll see. I'm gonna finish those boxes. I might just bring that, like the new stuff, like those new boxes, and not bring like 30 boxes like I have been. Just bring a smaller bunch of stuff. Zach and Porter says, I drove a 1983 Chevy Cavalier grocery getter wagon in high school. I have immense knowledge on how to add oil to a car, changing it not so much. Oh, yeah. I don't think I ever had. So my first car, let's talk first cars. Scott Nelson's was a Model T. My first car was a 1989 Pontiac Sunbird. Thing like, I beat the hell out of it. And we ended up selling it for, like, my parents trying to teach me financial responsibility. It was like my mom's car. And so she like sold it to me for $1,000. And I had a job. Like I worked at the grocery store. So, I had the means to make car payments. And so my mom was teaching me responsibility on, okay, you're going to pay me $100 per month for 10 months for this car. 1989 Pontiac Sunbird. I beat the hell out of it. And had it for 2 years. Because right before college started, I got, it was a super sleek, the hell was it? Dodge. Shit, what was that? What the hell car was it? It was a Dodge. Super sleek car. The hell was it? Not a Charger, not a the hell Dodge cars. I think it was a 96. Avenger. How could I forget? I'll show you. 1996 Dodge Avenger. It was black. Oh man, it was such a cool car. Yeah, it kind of looked like this one. Oh, that's purple. Here, let's share the screen. So this was my second car. It was, are you seeing it on the screen? Yeah. So it was the big one on the right that looked identical to that. Was an awesome car. Well, it looked awesome, but it was a lemon, man. It was a lemon. I had to put so much money into that damn thing. It was at the dealership every month. 96 Dodge Avenger. But my 89 Pontiac Sunbird, so I drove it into the ground for 2 years. I sold it. We sold it and sold it for like $400, I think, to somebody. And they just wanted it. I think the guy who bought it just wanted a beater to drive to work. And he worked, I think, in the Quad Cities. And we're like, I don't know if you can rely on this to go back and forth like a lot. Because, I mean, it had a ton of miles on it. And that guy, because we lived right on the highway in Anawan, saw him drive by like every day. And, I mean, he drove that thing for a couple more years. It's like, I beat the hell out of that. How is that thing still running? They made things better back then. I don't know if you can get away with cars lasting that long today. 89 Pontiac Sunbird. I put a 12-disc CD changer, but it was in the trunk. And of course, this is like before, this is 89. So you didn't have trunk releases, not at least not on a Pontiac. So I had to get the key. And this is back when you had different keys. You had a starter key, and then you had the door lock key. Key to the trunk, open it up. That's why I wanted 12 CDs, so I didn't have to change it. I didn't have to open the trunk every day. And then my Dodge Avenger, I ended up buying a, it was, I don't think I had a CD changer. It might have been an in-dash CD changer, but it was one of those with the remember when removable early 2000s, removable face plates, fancy. And I spent an arm and a leg on this stereo, and I was at Davenport, Iowa, nightclub called Stars and Stripes. And it was like 3 days before Christmas. Somebody wanted to treat themselves to a Christmas present by smashing in my driver's side window, ripping out the stereo, stealing all of it. This is when you had like binders of CDs. I had like 300 CDs in binders. My buddy's winter coat, my buddy's dad's police radar thing, scanner, whatever the hell they call those, radar detectors. That was in my Dodge Avenger. Thing was a lemon though, man. Looked great. It was fun to drive, but it spent half of its life in the dealership. Let's see what other people were driving. Flawed Thinkers in the house. What's going on? Good morning. Grinding for good. Happy Friday. Scott's first car wasn't a Model T. 69 Mercury Cougar convertible. I bet the chicks digged it. Tracy says a 73 Gran Torino, first car bought for $400, sold 2 years later for $400. Looked like garbage, but loved driving it. Very cool. Mark loved his first car, 1980 Toyota Corolla stick shift. It was an adventure stopping on hills. I never had a stick shift. I drove a stick shift one time. And it was something that I didn't want to do again. So not only can I not change my oil, I don't know how to drive a stick shift. Andy Mack says my first car was a 1992 Pontiac Bonneville. The Bonnies. Leather seats and a Bose stereo. It was the nicest car I drove until I was about 40. Very cool. The old Bonnevilles. Flawed Thinker says just purchased a box of 2005 draft picks last night for $85. Now to rip or resell for a $30 plus profit. I'll most likely just rip it to find Zimmermans that I could buy for $1 or $2 on eBay. Yeah, if you rip it, you could sell it for $30 profit. So what? 115? Or you could rip it and get $10 worth of cards. Cooter says October 5th, I will have had my first car 39 years. How about that? You probably are, I'm sure, in the chat, the only person that still has their first car. But like, how many people do you think have it's got to be like 1% of the driving population still owns their very first car. Kyle says, good morning. Uncover any NASCAR. Yeah, there was when I was digging, or when I was loading it in, it didn't appear that there was going to be any NASCAR. But there has been we're talking like maybe 100 cards, at least so far that I found, that are loose. So yeah, there has been a few NASCAR. There has been a few, like a stack of 100 cards. And it's the same. It all looks the same to me. The NASCAR stuff, like 90s. I think there's some action-packed, some other stuff. Shane Koopman says, literally just left Walmart. 90% of it was draft pick stuff. Oh, the Prism. Oof. Yeah, pass on that. Cooter says, it's Standy Me for the second time last Friday. Mrs. Cooter and I went cruising, and the wire harness came off the voltage regulator. Those sound like made-up words. Wire harness, voltage regulator. I don't know what any of that means. That could be complete. See, the funny thing is, my knowledge about cars, and my dad was a gearhead, big time gearhead. My knowledge, like you could tell me about wire harnesses and high voltage regulators, and I'd be like, oh, cool. Don't know what that is. You could be completely making that up, and I'd still believe. Although I do know there's no such thing as turn signal fluid. I do know that, but I have no idea what a wire harness or a voltage regulator is. 68 Chevy Nova. We've got some classics in here. Nothing like my 89 Pontiac Sunbird. 86 Dodge Daytona hatchback. Man, that takes me back. My best friend in junior high and high school, his first car was a Dodge. It was like a poop brown. It was like the ugliest color. It was a sweet car, but it was just the ugliest color. It was like this ugly brown, but it might have been an 86 Dodge Daytona. I wonder if I can find a photo of like that color. Like, I mean, it was such a rare Dodge Daytona brown. Like, why would they even make this color? There's a lot of like old Dodge Daytona. So it kind of looked like this one. Turbo. Yeah, because his was a turbo also. Can you see? So his kind of looked like that car on the right. Although I think that car in the picture looks pretty nice. His wasn't that nice. His was beaten up a little bit more, but similar to that. James had a 1990 Dodge minivan. Very cool. You know what? When you're in high school, man, vans are freaking cool. My one of my buddies had his parents, and his parents was a conversion, like the 80s conversion vans, which I love those old 80s conversion vans. And what the hell did we call it? I can't remember the hell we called it, because it had a name, and so that was like the Vandura. Is that a name of a Vandura? Because it sounds cool for a van. Yeah, so it kind of looked like, let's see, of these photos, I guess it kind of looked like this one. Yep, it did. Here. So my buddy's parents' van kind of looked like that big maroon brown color. That was a 1990. Yeah, his might have been a 1990. So yeah, we would take that out. We would cruise in the country doing things that we shouldn't have been doing. The Vandura. Zach and Porter says driving a stick shift is the best car theft security device you could. I bet. Brian says loaded with baseball cards for the shows at the mall on weekends. Very nice. John says I've never had a car that wasn't a stick shift. I don't think automatics are such a big thing in the UK. That's interesting. I didn't know that about the UK. That's interesting. So if I ever make it over there, I won't be driving myself. That's for sure. Well, and I would be confused because you drive on the other side than what in America. So I would be confused. Can you imagine like just getting a car and it's a stick shift? You don't really know how to drive a stick shift, and you have to drive on the opposite side of the road. Oh man, that would be hell. Charles, what's going on? Good morning. Shane says I had a 98 Dodge Neon. You should have seen all the ladies lining up and waiting for me to show up for school in that bad boy. Well, that's because you changed your own oil. That's why. The line didn't exist. Oh, well, maybe you didn't change your own oil. Dave Arnold, my dad still has a 63 Mercury Comet that he bought brand new in 63. That's pretty cool. That's, how many years is that? 60 years? Is that right? Am I mathing that right? Yeah. 60 years. Holy cow. That's pretty cool. T206 kid, first car I paid $950 for in 2006 was a 1992 Nissan Stanza. I don't even know what that is. I'm going to Google it. A Nissan Stanza. What year did you say? Let's just Google it. 92 Nissan Stanza. 1992 Nissan Stanza. Oh, I remember these. Oh, yeah. I remember these. I bet that thing lasted a while. Nissans, Toyotas, Hondas, man, those things last forever. Buicks, though. I think Buicks take the cake. I had a friend who had a Buick, and that thing had like 300,000 miles. They lived in the country, so between him and his brothers, it had hit like 7 deer in the course of its life. And that thing just kept going. It looked like a big pile of shit, but it kept driving. Buicks, man, they're tanks. Brian says mine was poop brown also. Was that a thing with Dodge Daytonas? We're just going to make them the ugliest color that we can find. We're just going to mix a bunch of colors together and find this poopy brown paint. Put it on a Dodge Daytona. Woody says 77 Ford LTD with crushed red velvet interior. Oh my God. Big pimpin'. Hell yeah. 77 Chevy Camaro. Not as cool as it sounds. It was kind of a turd. It wouldn't be a turd today, though. Maybe in the 80s it was a turd, but not today. Rascal 30. Of course, there's no such thing as turn signal fluid. It's called blinker fluid. Oh, that's right. How could I forget? Blinker fluid. I've been looking in the wrong place. Gold 1990 Toyota Corolla. That car wouldn't die. If you have seen the movie The Whole Nine Yards, it's the exact same car Matthew Perry drives in that movie. 1990 The Whole Nine Yards Toyota Corolla. Let's see if we can Google it. Whole Nine Yards Toyota Corolla. Is this it? It is. Oh man. Check that out. There it is, baby. 1990 gold Toyota Corolla from The Whole Nine Yards. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Shane says, I have a minivan now and I don't have kids. Best purchase of my life. Van life. Van life. I could use a van. With all my cards, man, I could use a van. I want an RV, though. It's my dream. In RV. Dream low, dream whatever. My Mustang was originally baby shit gold. I changed it to springtime yellow in college. That $99 Earl Schwab paint job didn't last long. I have fully restored it since. Wow. Very nice. John says, I'd be reluctant to drive in the U.S. There seems an extreme desire to arrive at the next set of traffic lights in record time. Yes. Maybe outside big cities would be cool, though. That's pretty accurate. That's pretty accurate. It's like what I notice on the road annoys the shit out of me sometimes. People are not thinking of the next step, right? Kind of like what John says. The extreme desire to arrive at the next set of traffic. I love the way he said it in record time. Because it's like green light, but there's a red light. And just to like slam on the brakes to get to the red light. It's like, didn't you see the light? Are you not looking ahead? Same, we have the belt line in Madison. It belts around the city. And so, in fact, when I was coming back with my Goodwill stuff earlier this week, there's this car, and I drive faster than most cars on the belt line. But there's also a segment that are faster than me. And I cruise, I don't even know what the speed limit is. But I figure if I go 65 to 70, and sometimes I go 75, I think it's 55 on the belt line. But there's now 3 lanes on each side. So there's the far right lane, which is kind of like it's the slow lane, but it's also like that's where the cars are merging. So it is like the slower lane, but a lot because there's cars merging from the side streets or whatever. And then there's the middle lane, and then there's the left lane. There's actually a 4th lane. It's the I don't know, but it's only open. It does have an actual name, but it's only open at like rush hour. And so like some of the outlaws will take that even when it's closed. I think you can get ticketed for that. Well, you'd be speeding also. But anyway, there's these cars, they're the lane changers, and they think they're going to get there faster by changing lanes. And I always laugh when I see these lane changes. So I'm in the left lane and I'm passing cars going in the left lane because I know that if I go into the middle lane, I'm going to get caught behind a slower moving vehicle. And then it's going to take me a while to get back in the left lane to get around. So you just continue driving. And if somebody's on your ass, fuck them, right? So I see this guy and he's the lane changer. It's like, hey, you dumbass. And all of a sudden he's like up on my grill and then he switches lanes. And I'm like, hey, dipshit, there's a freaking car right there in the middle. Like, you're going to get caught. And then there's cars behind you that are going to come up and they're going to be behind me. And you're going to be even further back. You moron. But the lane changers, they don't think ahead. They're not thinking ahead. They just think if I switch lanes, boom, 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 I'm going to get there faster. No, it doesn't work like that. Doesn't work like that. John, I'm reluctant to drive in the U.S. many times. Damn lane changers. Mark says, my buddy, a Dodge Dart thing was a tank. So I'm going to tell you. In fact, I earlier talked about my buddy who, the Lions fan, with his wife, the Packers fan, his parents, diehard Packers fans. They were at the game last night at Lambeau. Brandon, he was a couple years older than me. When he turned 16, he had might have been a 1970. He had a Dodge Dart. He got his license. He got his driver's license on a Saturday morning. And I'm 13, I think. I think he was 3 years older. He might have been 4 years older than me. So I'm 12 or 13. He's 16. And who was with us? I think his brother was around. His brother was a year older than me. And then Doug was with us. I think there was at least 4 of us in the car, maybe 5. So we're in the back seat and we're driving out in the country. This is like his first drive, right? He got his license, came home, like, hey, let's go cruise. Yeah, I've got a friend that drives. My first friend that drives. And so we go out Mud Creek Road. Although in Anawan they call it a creek. Mud Creek Road. Oh yeah, you got to run out to the bridge, Mud Creek. So we go out Mud Creek Road. So Mud Creek kind of comes to, it comes to a T. And then you take but it kind of veers off to the left because Mud Creek is right there. I'm going to keep calling it Mud Creek. So it kind of veers off just a little bit to the left, curves left, and then it comes to a T. And then if you go right, you're like immediately on the bridge that goes over Mud Creek. You go left, you go to my buddy Jason's house. So you take a right, and then there's another T, but you can go straight. That goes to the 40 and 8 where my friend had the Dodge Dodge Daytona. You take a quick left, and that goes Lone Tree Road. There's one tree, hence the name Lone Tree Road. Now, the next country mile block has like this dip, and it was like back in our day. I think they've probably leveled it out in the last 30 years. But at the time, it was like a ramp. So the cross between these roads was elevated. So you get driving and you can get airborne. We got airborne in this Dodge Dart. And this is literally from Brandon's house. You go 2 blocks from his house and you're on Mud Creek Road, the country road, and a mile to the creek. And then the next, you're 2 miles. We're 2 miles into Brandon's first drive. And we hit that frickin' ramp and went airborne. And they had just graveled that section of road, that the next section where we landed. And, and hit that gravel. And all of a sudden we're fishtailing. And then, and we do a 180 and slam into the ditch and get stuck. And we had to walk up to a farmer's house and had to get a tractor out to pull us out. I'm like peeing my pants, scared, because I'm like 12 or 13. This is like the first time I've been in a car with like a friend. Yeah, Brandon's car like had a lot of damage. And for 2 miles, he got it 2 miles before that old Dodge darted into the ditch. Donald says blinker fluid or muffler bearings. There you go. See, I know blinker fluid's fake, but you could get me on muffler bearings. I'm like, I don't have any muffler bearings. Shane says Buicks are great. I have a Buick chilling in my driveway. Needs about a 1K fix on it and don't want to do it. Already has 260,000 or more miles. Still runs good. Heck yeah, they're run forever. Kendall says a 1992 Dodge Dynasty, tinted out with the subwoofers in the trunk. Very cool. Uncle Rich, what's happening? Hey, hit that like button while you're here. Subscribe to the channel. A collector's dream, good morning. He says the worst drivers are in South Florida. I will 100% agree. I've driven in South Florida several times. My mother-in-law has a home down there. And I haven't gone down in a few. My wife goes down every December. I stay back. But I have been down there and driven down there several times and will 100% agree. The worst drivers are most certainly in South Florida. Flawed Thinker says my kids will be getting a single cab mini truck with a stick shift. I don't want them to be able to take friends anywhere. Love it. Love it. Card Hobby says you may curse them by having to help their friends move. There you go. There you go. How about it? That was fun. Our first cars. So let's do a little name that player. Uncle Rich says the only place I've ever driven where I felt fear for my life was in Boston. I've never been to Boston. I have never been to Boston. I've never been to New York. Never been to Boston. It's on my bucket list eventually. What do you say we play a little name that player, huh? Oh shit. Need to get some of these I've got, I think last year's Allen and Ginter, and it's going to be a trick to but I did not prepare yesterday for this, and so this morning I was like, oh shit, I got to put together some cards for name that player. Uncle Rich, first car, a 1972 Satellite station wagon. Oh my god, I've got to look up, we've got to check out what a 72 Satellite station wagon looks like. Satellite. Oh my goodness. Oh, we got to show this one. Oh, I would totally drive the shit out of one of these. Oh my God. Oh my God. You could put so many baseball cards in that thing. Uncle Rich. That is a beast. What a ride. Then you've got the wood panel. Where's the screen at? Oh, can you imagine cruising around in one of these? Oh, shit. Where is it? I want to find a picture of a panel one. That green one, though. What a beauty. What a beauty. Clark Griswold would fight for that ride. Yes. Yes, he would. Why do you think that was the car I got? There you go. Stack that thing with baseball cards. Brian's to carry bodies. There you go. All right, let's play Name That Player. Card Hobbyist says spacious sleeping space. Oh, there you go. You dog, you. So we've got Name That Player. Max with a big lead, 23 points. Flawed Thinker with 11. Uncle Rich in third, tied with Harlan and Terry. Card Hobbyist has 6 points. Scotty Dubs with 4. Philly Joe has 3. The Minneapolis Kid also has 3. PK Steinberg with 2. Flipping Sports Guy Diego, Mark Marinello, Ken, SoCal Guy, and Merle with 3 points apiece. So this is going to be Allen and Ginter heavy this morning. And so I've a lot of Ginter, some new Ginter and some of last year's Ginter. So here's a mini. Cleveland. Who's this guy? Cleveland Guardians. Terry McDaniel got it. Stephen Kwan. Yes. Stephen Kwan. Terry McDaniel with the point. Terry McDaniel. Oh, moves up with 8 points. So you move into third. Yeah. Standalone third. You were tied for third. Now you're all alone in third. A little slow this morning. There we go. Right. There we go. All right. Stephen Kwan. All right. Here we go. I had this in my Cubs pile. Oh, clear the screen. What's up, 4-leaf cards in the house? Just getting started. Little name that player. Dan's here. What's going on? Chicago Cubs. This might be the first. Well, we've opened some packs. There's been some Cubs in the packs, I guess. Chicago Cubs pitcher. Where are my Cubs fans at? I bet Max knows this. Nope. And here we go. We got Smiley. It is not Drew Smiley. It is not Abbott. It is not Stroman. It is not Killian. It is not Ethan Roberts. Keep naming pitchers. Wesneski, Brian on the board. Yes, Hayden Wesneski. Came over from the Yankees. Brian, that's your first point, I think. Hayden Wesneski. All right. And let's get old Brian BK. Brian is on the board. All right. Now it's going to get tricky. Let's see if you know this. I'm covering up his hat. Rich says the fact we can't name Cubs pitchers tells you all you need to know about their recent issues. Yeah, no doubt. Wesneski's kind of been up and down. Up and down Chicago to Des Moines. He's spent a lot of time in AAA this year. A pitcher. Yep, and you guys knew it without even knowing the team. Detroit Tigers, Jack Morris, Scotty Dubs back on the board. Scotty Dubs. Let's put him over here. Scotty Dubs. Scotty Dubs is up at 5 points now. All right. This should be an easy one. Rich says I had Card Hobbyist first. Could you double check? Yep. I have Scotty Dubs first. Scotty Dubs first. Card Hobbyist second. Max third. SoCal fourth. Let's see. All right. St. Louis Cardinals. St. Louis Cardinals. Lou Brock. And Terry McDaniel. Terry McDaniel. Lou Brock. All right, here we go. Let's see. Terry McDaniel is moves up more to 9. Oh, wait. Terry McDaniel's in third. So who? Oh, wait. Yeah, because he just scored the. Duh. Terry was in third earlier also. Okay, here we go. Shane says he also has Card Hobbyist. I can show you my screen if you don't believe me. This should be easy. Ted Williams, Terry McDaniel again. Let's see, where we at? Terry McDaniel, Ted Williams. Moving on up, Terry, 10 points. Closing in on Flawed Thinker. All right. Max says -1 for Yaz. Let's see. Here we are. All right. Okay. These are not as difficult as those Ginters. We got some Topps Heritage. Can you name Houston Astros pitchers? Houston Astros rookie pitcher. Hunter Brown is correct. John with his first point. Hunter Brown. John Maybe. Am I pronouncing the last name maybe correctly? So I think going back to it's like the age-old argument. So-and-so was first on my screen. It's a little different. Now I'm not on YouTube. I'm on StreamYard. And there's definitely a delay because I'll receive like 6 answers, like boom, all at the same time. Whereas YouTube, it's a little faster, like it's almost instant. So that's probably why it's not the same anymore now that I'm on StreamYard as opposed to being straight on YouTube. Okay. We've got 3 more cards. Another Heritage. We go up north of the border. North of the border to Toronto. Where we at? Varsho is correct. Terry McDaniel, another point. I believe that puts him in a tie for second. Terry with a big day. 11 points now. Tied with the Flawed Thinker. All righty. All right, 2 more to go. Hobby says the data has to travel to the YouTube server, then to StreamYard. Ah, yes. All right. New York Yankees. This is kind of tough. You can't really see his face. New York Yankees. It's really foggy here this morning. Is it foggy where you are? DJ LeMahieu is correct. Terry taking the second place. DJ LeMahieu. Can Terry? Oh, so he did take second. Okay, so he's at 12 now. Oh, shit. Okay, Terry is at 12. That moves him into standalone second place. Can Flawed Thinker tie it up in second? We've got one more. One more card here. There we go. All right. Let's see. Max says -1 for an easy way out on first name. Merle's got thunderstorms. We were pushing them over to the Drunken Scotties. There you go. Shane says not foggy there. Yeah, DJ LeMahieu, former Cub. Came up with the Cubs and only played, I think, like 12 games in Chicago. I think he was a September call-up. He might have played more than that. He might have played like 50 games. I can't remember. Pop. Wow. I'm surprised. So who came in first? Terry. Terry again. Zach Pop. Marlins rookie. All right. Terry is in beast mode this morning. How about that? So, Terry, let's take a look at the updated scores. Terry moves into within still 10 points. Still 10 points between Max and Terry. Max has 23, Terry McDaniel 13, Flawed Thinker 11, Uncle Rich 7, Harlan 7, Card Hobbyist 6 points, but so close so many times this morning. Scotty Dubs 5, Philly Joe 3, Minneapolis Kid 3, PK Steinberg 2, and with 1 point each, Flipping Sports Guy Diego, Mark Marinello, Kin, SoCal Guy 1967, Merle, and we've got 2 first-time point earners, Brian K. and John Maybe. Congrats. How about that? Max says Terry got that fiber upgrade this week, right? Terry just got done sorting some 2023, and Terry is like butter. He's on a roll. It's Dad Joke Friday. Dad Joke Friday with Uncle Rich and Steve. Steve had our dad joke earlier with Yvonne DeJesus, my Madison police story. Looking for Yvonne. All righty. I've got a bunch of shit to do, so I hope to see you tomorrow. Let's throw that banner up. I hope to see you tomorrow at the Madison Card Show, Sheraton Hotel, John Nolan Drive. It's a sold-out show, 125 dealer tables. Show hours 9 to 3, but come on in a little early. That's allowed. 9 to 3 show hours, free admission. Don't forget we have upstairs and downstairs rooms. I'll be there with all new quarter boxes, all new dollar boxes, supplies, good stuff. Come see me. I already have, oh my God. I've bought enough. I have enough inventory for the time being, but one of my dealers reached out to me and he said, hey, I've got a bunch of First Bowman paper. Do you want it? Give you a really good deal. He actually reached out to me about the same thing last month or 2 months ago, and I'm like, nah, I'm going to pass. But I found out later it had actually like goods like Julio Rodriguez First Bowmans. And so now I'm like, okay, I'll take a look. Like, I'm not just going to blindly say, yes, I'll take it. I'm going to look to see what's in there and if we can agree on price. So I might be coming home with more stuff. I thought there was one other person that said they had stuff for me. I can't remember. So I'll probably be bringing, again, more cards than I take with me. And you can find those cards in my eBay store. Check it out, 99centcards.com, or just follow the link in my description to this video. As always, buy 7 or more cards at regular price, and you'll receive 25% off at checkout. Probably won't be adding any inventory at least the next couple days, maybe Saturday night, depending on what I do pick up at the Madison Card Show tomorrow. Card Hobbyist says, I'll celebrate my 0-point silver medal today, right? Poor Card Hobbyist. So close, yet so far away. Thank you, Uncle Rich. Madison Card Show tomorrow. Max says, see you tomorrow. Heard tables were half off. You heard wrong, buddy. You heard wrong. All right, so hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. No Hobby Evolution tomorrow. You can get a live version at the Madison Card Show. We'll be back at it Sunday morning, probably 8:30 a.m. Central Time, Sunday morning, to review the Madison Card Show, and then back at it 7 a.m. Central. Hopefully I'm not tardy next week. I've been tardy like every day this week. I would have been more tardy this morning, but I didn't make coffee. So I'm going to go make some coffee, bring down the rest of my cards. I got to get my car out of the garage, get ready for tomorrow. So have a great day. Like, subscribe. See you tomorrow at the Madison Card Show.